for you guys. Do you think we could make this relatively focused and try to get done in like a half hour? I'm trying to beat.
Yeah, listen, we'll
think
be
that's possible?
24.
It's definitely
Or
usually,
25.
it's usually the rest of us that keep it from being focused.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I thought when you said I got to ask you guys a question, I thought you were going to say, how is it that the rest of you have electricity? That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. How do you guys do that?
Are you in a
I
suite,
don't know. I'm
Michael?
about to
Are
turn
you in a
this.
suite?
I am. I'm in the residence inn. It's very...
Hey, I know you're now from Oregon, and the beard and the hair and I get it. Washington, Oregon, it's all the same to me. Yep. But you got a flannel on in fucking Georgia, and it's May, brother.
Georgia? No one's in Georgia.
He's in Virginia.
You know where Atlanta's is, right? Right? You know where Atlanta is.
Who said anything about Atlanta?
You are in a flannel, aren't you? Or is that just a...
Yes, he's in a fucking flannel. It's June this week.
I'm so hot.
It's
I'm gonna melt.
1993 all over again. Are you? Is it because all the grunge band leaders?
No, it's because Chris Cornell died last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Honoring him.
Yeah.
But you show some respect.
So you're in Virginia?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia. I'm always in Virginia.
Wow, you are awfully mouthy today to be that close to me. I thought you were in Atlanta, and I was going to say that was awfully close. You're in Virginia. I could be there in like 5 hours.
No time.
I'm just saying, there's a couple.
Hey,
of good
wear a
opportunities
diaper.
to
If you
get
decide
jobs
to do that, wear a diaper on the trip.
Do what now?
Wear a diaper on the trip. If you're going to go avenge something.
He doesn't work for NASA.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You're the only, he got that reference right away. Good. All right. Sorry, my voice is shot. I yell a lot at the race, and my voice is horrible.
They can't hear you.
They can't. You're right.
The cars are very loud.
You know what he yells, Michael? Do you know what he yells?
Woo!
Turn again! Turn!
No, you need to go faster than the car in front of you.
Push the gas harder.
Why aren't they just floored all the time? Oh man, yeah. So what are we doing?
That was a great race. I know you guys watched it.
I watched the I watched.
You watched the end?
I watched
about the last 30 laps.
10 laps. Yeah. 12 laps.
Oh, it was awesome.
No, Michael, the 10 laps. It's like the people who are like, I could just watch the last 3 minutes of any basketball game and see everything.
It's a 4-hour race, but those last 90 seconds.
Dude, the last 20 laps were awesome.
Sorry, those last 180 seconds.
So the chassis has been amazing. They're retiring it after this year. So.
Wait, you guys aren't going next year?
What? You're
not going next year?
No, they're retiring the chassis. This chassis. I go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, my dad, he said
chassis 55 is a part of a car.
Chassis.
I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, it's all right. My dad has been to 55 Indy 500s.
What?
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Did he ever visit the snake pit back in the day?
No, he said he's never been, not during the race.
Is he lying? Were you conceived in the snake pit?
Oh, there's a great story. My mom was pregnant with me.
Oh, okay.
For one of the races, okay? She went down to go to the restroom, and she wasn't feeling great anyway. It was just really hot. So I was born in August. So this is May, end of May.
Oh, man.
You know, if you go down to if you've ever been in the track, you know, there are parts where like the seats come down on an angle, and they've gotten better at moving things away from that. She hit her head, knocked herself out cold.
What?
So she's, let's see. So she's, 7 months pregnant. And she's knocked out, and somebody finds a pregnant woman knocked out. I don't know if it's in the bathroom or near the bathroom. And, you know, they take her to the med center.
Sure.
She's gone for like 50 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes before my dad even thinks about it. This is like both of them say the same story. And my dad's like, all right.
Starts looking at his watch.
So he starts going, he goes down. Yeah. Supposed to be getting souvenirs. And so
there's so much to enjoy about that story. Not the least of which is the fact that someone found a passed out pregnant woman and moved her. Which is
usually you find passed out people at Indy, and you just move on. You just keep
She's not
Eyes straight ahead.
Yeah, she's not just drinking.
Did they like dump a bucket of water on her face and wake her up?
Sober
I'll
up.
tell you, in 1975, that was the medical
Sober up.
protocol.
Like you're pregnant for the love of yeah. Well, in 1975, people were
That's a
drinking
horrible
pregnant.
place to nap. Wake up, lazy.
You know, mothers these days. That is a great story.
Then my dad, so he goes down there, and I think he was a little upset that he missed part of the race. I mean, he says it. My mom still begrudges him. It's great.
Of one of his 55 races.
Right.
Yeah.
They're so different. They're like snowflakes every race.
Everything.
Every lap. Come on. So during that, how long were you deprived of oxygen?
Seems like a long time, doesn't it?
That is one of the things that you can measure after the fact. And
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
That's terrible. Why am I joking about that? That's terrible. All right. So is this you never answered me. Is this a basketball?
No, it's handed. This one will be a handsome hour. Michael and I hopefully will be doing one later this week just about Biggie in the NBA. So we're not going to touch on like.
Oh, those are the only questions I had for you were about the NBA.
And we can do that on a different one. But like I wanted to keep it
a basketball beat. It didn't bother me.
well,
it's already a handsome hour.
if we talk about the NBA here, we're going to spend like 3/4 of the time defending the NBA to Dowd, who hasn't watched an NBA game in 30 years, but still.
Oh no! I've watched a couple this playoffs. It's been riveting. What a great product!
I know.
Are you wearing a shirt with a lightning bolt on it?
Yeah, it says "Mom" on the back.
What the?
That's like literally a kid's shirt.
I have a Purdue
it's a
grandma
mom's
shirt. I have a Purdue grandma shirt in my.
Yeah, I used to have one of those. Those are awesome. I wore that for years. I think Jay saw that on me at some point, right?
We used to wear it at the game.
Yes, yeah, I love that. That's great. That is a great shirt. No, this one Booker gave it to me because I was at his office for lunch, and he's like, "Hey, we just had like 3 of these returned. They said they didn't. He said the shirts are like a year old, and they're like, you know, like you can see the print's a little faded."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm going to toss them. You want one? I'm like, yeah. What'd it say on the back? He said, Mom. I said, perfect.
Even better. The secondary market for mom shirts is just strong right now.
Yeah. Ryan Booker looked around and said, "Who do I know who'd fit into a women's shirt?"
Who is the human equivalent of a raccoon who will just take whatever I give them?
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that one. I'm not going to deny that. Oh, boy.
Take whatever I give.
I do that. Generally, somebody gives me something, I'll be like, I'll try it.
Dowd is the type of guy who you go to his house, there's a door you're not supposed to open. You do it anyway, and there's just garbage.
That's right.
Just stuff that he's gathered.
Don't touch my treasures.
Don't touch my stuff. No, true story. My son, he was in his room, and I went up to go talk to him, and he tried to hide something from me real fast. I was like, "Hey, what you got there, bud?" He's 5, by the way, and he pulls out this garbage bag full of trash, like a broken hanger, some like junk mail, like the
credit card,
the tags you cut off of clothes. What are you doing?
That's awesome.
I can use this someday.
Yeah,
you didn't want to show it to me.
It's the early signs of being a hoarder.
Exactly.
Check these out. Check these limited edition.
Ooh,
Oh, that's I believe the kids would call that fresh.
Yeah.
Maybe even fresh to death.
Yeah. They're the Forest Hill 72. I bought them in Hong Kong about 15 years ago. But I don't wear them very much. So I've got these. I'm going to mothball those and a pair of AJ1s, all blacked out. So,
Those are for wearing?
I wore them, but I didn't wear them much. So I'm gonna mothball them and see if Michael wear them I said, "You want these?" He said, "Yeah." They're size 8. He's a 4 right now, so a couple years. He'll be as big as his dad by 7th grade, probably. That's what we're hoping. Not as wide, but as tall. Anyway,
So
shoe size.
the guy who wants to get out in 30 minutes has brought us on all of our tangents over the last 15 minutes.
Are we going? Is this all
we're
going to be
going.
it?
This is. I was told before to make sure that we record all of this. So
okay.
all of this nonsense.
Oh, we're going?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We're going.
Excellent.
Oh,
This is all recorded and will be on the internet forever.
What I can't wait for is the inevitable breakup of our union, our 4-way union. One of us gets super bitter and releases the tapes.
All the transcripts of the dirty laundry coming out.
Ruins all of us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we need more.
When you're running for office, Michael, I think you're
That's right.
We need more recorded things.
Wait, so should we be talking? Wait, we want Michael to win, right? So we should be talking about grabbing. No, never mind. I'm sorry.
Grabbing your cat, giving your cat.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who would talk that way? By the way,
No.
People in locker rooms apparently talk that way.
I don't know what type of locker room those are. I've asked that question to multiple people. I'm like, you know anyone that would even joke around that way?
I think you and I talked about that when we had. It was like I know guys who talk about women, maybe hot women.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. I mean, I shouldn't say there's nothing wrong. But like, you could talk about a woman and say, "Oh wow, man, did you see her? Wow, man." I mean, we've all done that. Like, she looks great. Like, but
that is not
just.
But to my most trusted friends, I wouldn't like.
I used to be in a basketball. I used to be in a basketball league with a bunch of military folks. You would expect.
You wouldn't with your most trusted friends, but you would with Billy Bush. Billy Bush gets the right.
Read, by the way, his PR redemption story.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, it's just such a. I don't know. They did make a good point. They said, "Does it bother you at all that you lost your job and he made it? He's the president?"
I mean, to be fair, he lost his job.
He didn't really.
He lost his job too.
He wasn't the one doing it. Like.
No, he was that one kid who was like running behind the group of cool kids.
Yes, he admitted
got
that.
caught by the cops.
His job with Access Hollywood was he had to be liked by Trump. So he had to, chuckle at everything he said. Like, that's why I hate that right there is why I hate those shows. That's why I hate everything about Hollywood. And we didn't avoid a meal, did we? I see.
No, he's eating. Oh no, he's like
I'm eating.
I'm not eating.
Not only am I eating,
I wouldn't do that.
Steak, potatoes, dessert.
I respect.
Is that out of the?
Oh, it's a big cup.
Is that out of a machine? Is that out
of the machine? No, I went to yes.
Tell me what. Seriously, what is that?
It's Easy Mac.
Okay.
Original flavor, big cup.
You have a kitchenette.
What are you
sick? It's huge. That looks like a bucket of macaroni and cheese.
I got it like at 9:20. I had to hurry because y'all wanted to record it. 9:30 is very important.
There are plenty of fried chicken places that are open.
Where are you in Virginia?
I'm in Upper Arlington.
There's nothing to eat in Arlington but macaroni and cheese.
That's true. DC just everybody knows DC. There's no food after about 9:30.
No.
Very small ham.
It's no Fishers, that's for sure.
That's
the cultural and restaurant bastion Fishers. Yeah. We've got it's opening soon. Oh, IKEA's opening soon. Suck it.
Oh.
Meatballs.
Meatballs.
Those horse meatballs. Get that horse meat
Dude,
in while you
that's
can.
giving me diarrhea, but they're delicious.
Horse meat.
You just sitting on the toilet sweating. It was totally worth it.
Oh, so good.
Totally worth it.
At least I made it to the bathroom this time.
Being married to you must be a treat.
Oh man,
day every day. Those are the words every day. Every day.
I love you so much. You bring such enrichments to my life.
Exactly. Life is so full. Yeah.
I get that too. I'm truly a delight.
All right. So this is called the Handsome Hour.
Welcome.
Welcome to the handsome beat off.
Yes.
What?
Yes, I've used that one a couple of times.
Yeah, that one works. I think that works.
I like that Michael doesn't even mute his microphone while he's eating macaroni and cheese.
Shoveling it in.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
He's just horfing, just wheezing and eating. That's all we can hear.
Oh, it's so good.
Just sounds like there's something about mac and cheese that could be. If you don't have the video, it sounds. Yeah, I don't know.
Like two old people covered in mayonnaise having sex.
Speaking of, nice to see you down in J Money.
Yeah.
That's a good segue.
That's great.
And I experimented. It was the 90s.
Everyone was doing it. Mayonnaise prices were an all-time low.
That's right. Mayonnaise prices were an all-time low. All-male dorm.
I'm just picturing a bunch of white people trading stock of mayonnaise on the just full of sweat and stress trading.
Don't forget the body hair.
Exactly. Mayonnaise.
Don't forget the body hair.
Oh.
We've gotten off to a good start.
This has been the Handsome Hour.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. How much are you gonna edit? All right.
He's not even started yet. There's nothing. Yeah, this is all just going into the.
This really isn't recording yet?
No, it is.
No, it's definitely recording.
It is. Yeah,
you just gotta start it whenever we actually start.
Okay, let's do it.
Wait, what are we talking about?
We got 7 minutes left.
That's right. Make it fast.
Make it snappy. All right. Welcome to the Boiled Sports Handsome Hour, an off-season edition.
I hope you know I'm not editing any of that out. Like most of that is making it in there. Anyway, continue.
No.
I tried to make you as uncomfortable as possible to see what you continue.
We have a 20-minute cold open. It's just us talking about wrestling.
What were we talking about, Jay?
Wrestling mayonnaise
and well, I'm cleaning it up a little.
Was it wrestling?
The way Michael eats mac and cheese and what it sounds like. What beer are you enjoying with your bucket of 6-year-old dinner there?
6-year-old.
6-year-old.
Oh,
I'm sorry, it's 6-year-old. You're eating Easy Mac, so
it's not that great. To be honest,
it's not that great.
Surprising.
To be honest,
we accept all sponsors.
I'm gonna bail on this meal halfway through. It's just not very good.
What are you drinking?
Sam Adams Summer Ale.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Not bad.
I don't even like beer that much. I like that. It's probably not good for Sam Adams, is it?
You know what's great about those goofy IPAs that Michael drinks? It's
I hate IPAs so much.
I'm with you on that. I hate IPAs.
Well, the best part is they're only about 300 calories of beer. That's the best.
Yeah.
It's like having
biscuits.
It's like having a soup.
Exactly. You know what I need? I need a paper towel because I'm sweating. Oh, it is delicious.
Why am I fat and sweaty all the time?
Exactly.
Well, that's because you're wearing flannels in almost June, and
but
something to do with it.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, but handsome.
Looking pretty handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what she tells you? Yeah.
I get that all the time.
They all do. They
all do. Look at that guy.
Actually, I remember a photo you posted on social media in Vegas, and you were wearing a jacket, I believe.
Yeah, I was.
It was like July.
It was 110 degrees out, and I was wearing
the first comment, one of his friends was like, "Are you wearing a jacket?" And he's like, "I was just inside the air conditioning. It
was really cold inside of Caesar's.
Taking off my shawl.
It was really cold inside of Caesar's.
I just had
to have the reception outside." Oh, my delicate body can't handle the cold.
No, he's like
my bones.
He's like who's the tough guy, the golfer that always wear all black to show that he could take the heat.
The tough guy golfer.
Yes,
the tough guy golfer.
Yeah, you guys know him.
I'm often intimidated by golfers.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
this is back in the '60s when golfers were men. I don't even know what that meant. I don't know what any of that meant.
Gary Player.
Yes, Gary Player. Exactly. Yes. A man.
He is a man.
He's a man.
He's South African, Anish, so he wouldn't really like you so much.
No, definitely not. No.
I love how Jay felt that necessary to point that out. Hey, just so you know. Hey, just so everyone knows, racism existed in the 60s.
Exactly. If you weren't
aware, kind of what makes See, I'll explain humor to you one day. So sometimes you take like an obvious thing and you draw attention to it. That actually is what's going on here on the camera.
I'm lit up.
That's good.
Lit up. Sorry.
We need more light on Dowd.
I'm woke.
So let's talk about a sport that Michael doesn't make fun of. There's only a couple.
Ugh.
There's only one I can
There's
think
only a
of,
few.
really. And it's basketball. And it's a sad week. Is it a sad week? I don't know. I think
I don't think
it will
it's
be.
sad at all.
You guys are on the knucklehead boards. Is this addition by subtraction? Has anyone made that argument?
No.
Wait. Is the subtraction the Knucklehead Central? Is that the subtraction?
Oh, if we could do that, that'd be great.
That would be great. This is Genesis.
Says you, who reads it all the time.
Every day. I don't post so that I can maintain my air of superiority. Like,
Yes, it's good.
These morons. What are they saying today?
There's a riveting debate on net neutrality going on right now. It's fantastic.
On there?
Oh yeah. Everyone is
always-
very informed. Very
But how do
informed.
you,
on that
let me ask you this though. So how do you, because I'm not good at holding, I mean, I can read stuff like that for a long time, but I can't never comment. And I notice you guys have never, because I know the account you use.
I used to comment on the internets all the time, and then I would just be angry all the time.
Yep.
And so now I don't comment.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. You don't feel
You
better.
don't change anyone's mind.
Nope. No one changes, and
no.
you don't change, and you're just angrier. And you're brooding, and then the worst. Here's when
Yes.
you know it's bad. You go to your wife, and you go with that argument that you've been embroiled in with the person you've never met, and then you look at the look on her face, and you say, "What the hell have I been doing?"
Well, then you like explain it to her. Like, this is what I've been arguing
But
with on the
listen,
internet.
listen.
No, you would not believe what this person
like-
said.
Why did you engage with that person? That could be a 9-year-old on the other end. You realize that? That's not the point. It's a
Yeah.
stupid 9-year-old.
Well, you get the look like, while I'm raising your children, you're telling me that you're in the office because you're arguing with someone about sports on the internet.
I'm not saying you should let it over. Clearly, if you've let it overtake your life to where you're not raising your children, I think we can all agree that's a problem. I'm
So we've
saying,
made great progress. They do refer to me as dad at least 60% of the time.
Excellent.
what is the rest of it? That guy?
Mr. Henry.
Who's the hairy
Yes.
guy? Yeah.
Mr. Henry. It's Master Henry to you.
Sir.
I have a master's degree.
Sir. Yeah. Well, I just mean when you are reading it, such as you do,
Hmm?
how do you read something? How do you read these arguments?
You know what I do? I
make
text Anish. That's what I do. Isn't that right, Anish?
Yes.
I text Anish.
You are on. You take so many screenshots of Knucklehead Central. It's incredible.
I do, and I send them all to Anish.
Yes.
And he is very patient with me.
I use a friend's account, and every now and again I will comment. Like Jay, I'm like, I just can't sit here and let this moron go unchecked because nobody's been on for like a day. A comment, I'm like, is this real? Did this happen? And I'm like, da, 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 da. Beep. I feel better, and then I don't go back for like a week. See, unlike you, I would not read it. I just got that off my chest, and
That's how that's
No,
I roll a
perseverate.
grenade in there, and then I'm like, oh, that was fun. Because there are some people in there that it's the recurring moron. There's like, 5 to 7 of them really
Really,
are just
only that.
so dumb.
Yeah, there's some that are pretty good. There's
Have
some
there been
all-timers.
arguments? Have there been arguments that Biggie leaving is a good thing?
There have been some people who are like, he obviously hates it here, and his teammates hate him. So
Yeah, I've seen
Oh
that.
yeah. I've seen a couple of those. The teammates don't like him, which is
which is
It's
fantastic.
there is no proof of that. I mean, if you go on like Instagram, Twitter, whatever, I mean, those guys are all
they're all
they're
over.
pretty stoked for him. So.
Yeah. So he's leaving early, and I'm not allowed to ask any of my NBA questions because once the grown-ups want to have their podcast,
Mhm.
they'll touch on this stuff. I'm sure they'll cover it.
Yeah. What's a
But-
draft?
Ooh, it's breezy. It's why Michael wears a sweater in Las Vegas.
Oh. Okay.
I'd rather be too hot than too cold. Thank you very much.
I always can warm up, or I can cool. No, can't cool down. I can.
you can only take off so many layers. You can't. You can always put on another one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but the key is to take off the layers and then like spread out so you maximize your surface area.
Got a bad
Basically, the
visual.
same principle.
I'm thinking-
He works in a computer.
See that calmness there, that quiet. Everybody was visualizing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael with his clothes off, spread out on
I'll send you a picture or a drawing,
Awesome.
whichever one you want better.
Both.
I don't.
The drawing might be exaggerated in some areas. Just fair warning.
So what is it? So I'll ask a question since we're not getting anywhere here. What does this do to Purdue's? What does this do for recruiting this year? Seriously, what does this do
Nothing.
for? No, doesn't he have a? He has another hole to fill.
I thought you meant from like a being able to recruit.
No. Oh, give me a break. I'm not one of those people who. Come on. We've had that argument before with people who are like, "This is why you root for Michigan State to win the title because it helps the Big Ten, which helps Purdue, which helps." People want to come to Purdue, like there's no.
But you should, right? If he gets placed in a prominent position, right?
Sure.
That should help, right?
Yes, but I meant more like I can't, that doesn't hurt. But I'm saying I meant more. Like, what does it mean in
It
terms
doesn't
of
hurt, obviously.
Purdue has more scholarships available, right?
I think what it does is it does allow them to do something like pick up a sit-out transfer.
Yeah.
For next year, but the immediate help for next year, the market for that is like gone. Like,
Yeah, we're done.
No one knew they can get it.
We're done with that. So like the front line now becomes Haas starting. Harums will probably get a good amount of minutes, and then Taylor is the primary backup though.
Ooh.
So it'll. I mean, like, and so I
It's not
really
great.
do. I really
Ewing,
do.
It's not great.
Ewing too.
Hit Tim to kill.
So I really do think we're going to get a lot of Ewing at center lineups because we didn't really fill anything, or even actually I could even see Vince at center lineups and playing super small.
That's
not a good thing for Purdue.
No, I mean like it's
Vince
really
playing
different.
center?
Well, you know, I don't know if it's
not really a center.
Yeah, it's different.
Forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Big
not.
arc
It's not.
forward,
Center.
Yeah.
But it's really different. We're going to see a really different team next year, and it's because one guy left. It just so happened to be the best player in the country.
How about this question for you guys? Speaking of Haas's role, is Haas limited by? He obviously had some times where he was just gassed, right? So is he limited by his ability to play extra minutes, or was he limited by Painter keeping him in and having him fight through those minutes?
I actually think he was limited by Swanigan, and because Swanigan in college turns out he plays best as a 5 next to Vince. Like him and Vince.
It's almost like Izzo knew that. Is that what you're saying?
I you know what? No, because he wouldn't have fit with that lineup at all. He wouldn't have fit.
That's what Izzo wanted him to do.
They already had.
Yeah, Izzo did say he wanted him for that.
I mean, oh yeah, but he would have been with Bridges. He would have been with Ward. He would have been. There was another dude that was plugging in that, and then it would have been Swanigan.
How would that have
That's a good point. That would have been a hell of a logjam if he would have been. Was Ward already on at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could see him playing alongside of Bridges actually, but Ward and he would have been fighting for the same minutes.
Yep, exactly. And so it would have been. I mean, like going there didn't make sense because it would have somebody's minutes would have been eaten up. Whereas at Purdue, the power forward and then center after Hammond's left was pretty open. Actually, even Cal, like Jaylen Brown and him didn't quite fit because neither was like a rim protector. You know what I mean? Or neither could.
Purdue was the perfect place for him.
In
the moment, it was the perfect place for him.
Yeah.
But Haas is going to have a lot more challenges this year, just because he can't play 15 minutes a game or 20 minutes a game.
I think he can play. I think he's going to get 25. Like I think it's going to be 25, but I do think it's kind of maxed out there. He's not going to be a 30-minute a game player, which is actually, I mean, like when you think about it, that's insane because he looks like he's in shape. He doesn't have an ounce of fat on him, and it's just like the human body is not meant to be Isaac Haas.
It can't haul around all that mass, man.
Yeah, so it's like next year is going to be real different. I don't know.
Well,
but Purdue was perfect. I really do think that like Cal wouldn't have worked. Cal wouldn't have worked really well. I don't know how good of a coach Konzo is, so I don't know how good Cal would have been. Who else was he looking at?
Duke.
Duke and Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky, not really, but mostly Michigan State, right? And so it came down to those three: Michigan State, Purdue, and Cal. And yeah, I don't think it's really that close. I don't know if he would have gotten to the level that he would have gotten anywhere else.
So, how about this question? Just out of left field, is there a chance that Matt Painter is going to land another McDonald's All-American before he resigns at Purdue? When my son is a senior,
Yeah,
There's absolutely a chance. There's a chance for anything.
there's a chance for me to grow hair on top of my head.
Not really.
Infinite
I mean,
universe.
well, so you know the real answer is that if Purdue wasn't in Indiana, no. The answer is no. But because Purdue is in Indiana, because Painter recruits and Painter's known and respected around Indiana pretty well, another situation like Biggie is going to come around during his time.
Where a kid's dad played at Purdue and is an agent.
I know, right?
And
Again, number 9 overall, somebody like that? No, I don't think so. But like a top 20 recruit, like the number 20 recruit, number 22 recruit, happens to be from Indiana.
Yeah.
And
I mean, in any other class, Etuan Moore would have been a 5-star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can say that he's gotten 2 5-star caliber players in his time at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could probably get another one.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I think we all kind of, it's funny. I don't think any of us even think that anything has changed with Painter's recruiting or anything has changed like moving forward. I don't feel that way. I mean, it'll be the same fair story. You could say, okay, Purdue does a good job getting big men developed during their time on campus, right? I think that's a good story. I think it's a fair thing. Jay and I both have struggled with the idea that Painter is a machine at making guys into NBA big men. I still am going to struggle with that kind of idea. I don't think that's absolutely true. But
who didn't make it to the NBA? I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying like.
Well, you said
do we count?
Jawan Johnson counts because he briefly.
Oh, of course, yeah. Because it's not Painter's fault.
He went and he made a lot of money, but he was not an NBA big man, right?
I mean, yeah, he got drafted in the first round. He fit the profile. Just because he didn't have the work ethic to stick in the NBA, that's not Painter's fault.
So when they put his picture on the wall in Mackey for the recruiting, like spit and polish, do they have him in an Italy jersey or something?
No,
he's played pretty well out there.
They have a picture of him with like a Publishers Clearinghouse size check with his first round draft pick money. Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
He's a millionaire. And he's living in Italy. Life seems
terrible
for Jawan Johnson.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But no, like, who are the bigs that didn't go to the NBA that Painter had?
Like Travis Carroll.
Yeah, so exactly.
In your face.
Beatty, Carroll, Callison, does that count?
All of them except for AJ, JJ.
AJ, Jawan, Carl Landry. And that we can debate.
Carl Landry is another one that I have a hard time saying Painter developed him, right? But you can spin it, right? We can spin it. But I think Jay's story, and I hate to be this guy who first thinks of, this is like, we had a sidebar conversation, listeners, that one of my favorite lines of the whole thing was, sure, I'll debate an argument if Painter's good. I just that was a one line that I thought that was maybe a little off with that, but I got the general idea, right, Jay? Is that right?
Well, yeah, that I can't resist.
Nobody here said, we can reiterate over and over. Nobody says Painter's bad, but we all think. All of us have our idea of what Painter is.
Matt Painter is exactly the 2016-17 season. That's exactly who he is.
Yes.
That's not a bad. That's the problem. It's like not a bad coach.
It's not bad. That's right.
Matt Painter is the type of coach where every conversation about his program turns into a referendum on Matt Painter. All roads lead back to, is Matt Painter a good coach?
But that's the thing. It's like we were all happy with this season. We would have liked it to not end it, the way it did. But we were all pretty happy. And that's
sometimes you lose by 34 in the
that tone. But
that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen when you play a team that's professional. Wait, I'm really not indicting Kansas at this point because Purdue looked like Agreed.
Neither is the Lawrence Police Department.
I mean,
That's
got him.
good.
Got him.
The thing that's amazing is only one guy's had more charges brought up, really, right? And they were weak. One of them was like, he has to write on the chalkboard 100 times, "I'm really sorry for saying those bad things about girls."
He's
They
gonna
just
be,
had a graduate assistant do it for him.
Yeah,
he's gonna be
exactly.
drafted. He's
I
gonna
want to point out again that Bill Self was in the police interview with one of his players. Let's talk about how crazy that is.
No, he's
He
really
cares about his
honorable.
players, Michael.
He's really.
Come on, he cares about his
Because
players.
if I ever got arrested for beating up a woman, I'm sure my boss would be right there
Oh yeah.
vouching for me.
If your job was contingent, if his job was contingent upon you being successful, he might be there.
No, but no.
No,
Not in the real world. I don't think. But
Not in the non-sports world. Sports and politics, you can do whatever you want.
I'm still holding out for me to get a job playing professional sports. I just don't know which sport it's going to be.
You know,
That's
sources tell me you're real close.
handball.
Good.
I saw some posts on the internet. They
Good.
were like,
On the internet. The internet says
This Dowd guy,
stock is
underrated,
rising.
potential breakout star,
Yeah.
I think was the word.
excellent.
The next Hassan Whiteside.
So I'm going to ask a question. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. You guys know, I don't mean to push it on the basketball beat. That is sacred ground. Okay.
Sure.
So if
sure.
I offend or ruin the show, I apologize.
No, listen, we all know that you're the last thing you want to do is offend somebody.
That's exactly right. I don't,
Or derail the show.
Or derail a show.
no, I don't do that either. I'm like laser like focused. So, but this is actually poignant. So, I've read all the same things you guys have about what the draft quote unquote experts believe Swanigan is. What do you guys think he is, and where do you think he'll land? What type of place will he land?
We'll
Top
get
10
it.
pick in the second round.
Yeah, we'll detail it. I think.
Oh, is that how it's going to be?
We're teasing. This is what's called a
this
tease in
week.
the business.
Save it.
Right?
Save it.
This is what it's
Listen,
called tease.
I
I think
can't
he'll
dump all your gold out on one podcast.
I mean, like
spread it out. You got to make people listen to 90% crap,
Right.
8%.
we're real
meh,
good at that.
and 2%
Mike and
okay.
Mike and Mike, the formula for 18.
That's right. On this week's basketball beat, the boys will talk about mayonnaise wrestling and NBA draft.
That is the good stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
I
Listen,
think-
you got to pay for that content. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if he won't be a starter, I don't think, but like my takeaway
Ever?
in one sentence. No, I mean, like I don't think he'll be
injuries
an-
and stuff. Like
yeah, like I don't think he'll be an entrenched starter or a starter for any length of time for anybody that's not the Brooklyn Nets. But I really have a hard time picturing him completely flaming out of the NBA.
Okay. Well, let me ask you guys another question. You guys, maybe you can answer this on your special show.
Like Jawan, I can't picture him being Jawan.
Okay. I can't either. I think he works too hard. Is he more? I love to make references to players crossing racial barriers because ESPN never does it, so I like to do it. So
the hero we need.
is Swanigan more Kevin Love
No.
or Tyler Hansbrough?
Tyler Hansborough.
If you divided them in half, like if you took the average,
Gonna walk the line.
What Kevin Love
You can't do
skills
that.
does he have besides rebounding?
Right?
yeah, rebounding. I mean, like that's it. Kevin Love rebounding, and while he was in Minnesota, he was a really good low post player. I really do think that
Kevin Love couldn't play defense when he came in the NBA either.
And
Swanigan's got that down.
LeBron could also win Caleb Swanigan a championship. That's the other thing
That's a
that
good
could
point.
be the same way.
Hey, Kevin Love locked down unanimous MVP.
Put
here,
the straps
so
on. Put the straps on still.
found him.
I
Those are
really-
different
I-
straps.
I
Different
think-
straps than
I think
Mayonnaise
either of
wrestling.
those.
Different straps.
See, I think he could be either of those. I really do because
I think I mean like even tossing Jared Solinger. Like those are
those are good. Those are all good.
I mean like somewhere in that I think he's going to be better than Hansbrough. I think he's going to have a slightly better career.
Solinger doesn't start right
So
now.
your thought is he's
No.
going to be an NBA player for 6 to 10 years.
He's going to be the 9th guy on the roster for as long as he wants.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because the dude is. I mean, like we saw it. Like bring it back to Purdue. It's like I don't know like all the writers that we respect, who have access to like, interviewing players and all that and seeing them day in and day out, they were all unabashed. They didn't have any qualms by saying that Caleb Swanigan was the most insane hard worker that this program has ever seen. And so I really have a hard time picturing that guy flaming out, honestly, in anything that he does.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That suggests that all it takes is effort to stay in the NBA. But I mean,
he's got a base set of skills, though, right? He's got a couple things he can do that are NBA quality. Like he can rebound, he can pass, he can shoot okay.
Are you guys worried about his turnovers in the NBA?
Yeah, of course.
I'd be really.
But the thing is, no one's going to run their offense through Caleb Swanigan in the NBA. Right, so he's going to have to be efficient with the ball.
He gets on the Pacers, they might.
He's going to score most of his points off of the.
He gets on the Pacers, he might. You didn't hear that?
Did Purdue run? Did Purdue run our offense through him all the time?
He got a touch on pretty much every possession.
Well, once Vince disappeared, when Vince went,
I know, man.
Poof.
That's I don't know what to do, man.
Magic.
And that's the big thing, is that he leaves that void. The unquestioned leader void at Purdue is like
somebody asked that on Twitter, and I said it's got to be Vince. Until it has to be. He's got to step into
his year.
It's PJ Thompson.
I mean, like it.
Not PJ Thompson. I love PJ, but he's not the leader of the team.
But I think we might be in a situation that we were in with the 2014 team where Ray Davis was the leader of the team, but not the best player. I think
I would actually do it to 12. I would actually put it to 2012, where the heart of the team, it wasn't Robbie, it wasn't it wasn't Ryan Smith, it was Lou Jack. And Lou Jack was the engine. I mean, like, Robbie was the best player by far. He was the glue on the team, but the leader of that team was Lewis Jackson.
All right.
And so I do see where you're coming from when you say PJ, and Vince sliding into that.
I kind of meant from the guy who takes the last shot, the guy your offense goes through. It's got to be Vince.
It's going to be Carson Edwards, because Carson Edwards took last shots.
I hope it's Carson.
I hope it is too. I think it'd be great, but I just think it's. I think you.
So, on the jumping off points, guys, will Carson Edwards be unanimous All-American or just an All-American?
I think he's going to quit in February to prepare for the NBA draft.
Can't hurt that lottery.
Can't hurt that. He'll probably take out a giant insurance.
On
his body.
He's basically Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Well, Isaiah Thomas with a better shot.
Yeah.
All right, Isaiah Thomas.
more skill.
No, I was talking about the Pistons. Isaiah Thomas.
No. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
He's basically like Isaiah Thomas with a little bit of like Larry Bird shooting and Michael Jordan's athleticism.
Yep.
Sure.
Michael Jordan's drive.
I can see it. Except better.
Yeah, it's a better.
Yeah, except like the next level. You know what I mean? Like just
more polished is what you're talking about, Michael.
A little more polished. More polished.
Well, I bet that conversation probably happened on Knucklehead this week.
There's a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
That go on in KHC.
Yeah. Well, Nish said something about to me. Speaking since we're back to Knucklehead, we were having a side conversation about that, and I said I was actually fairly happy with the way Purdue fans acted on Twitter when Caleb's decision came down, because everything in our feed was like super supportive, wish him well, man, it was great to have him, hope he does. And during the season, well, Nish said Purdue fans in the moment are often very stupid, and upon reflection are a lot more decent. But that's true of any impulsive person,
human nature,
right? Like. But
yeah, that's human being. That's
Purdue
sports,
fans,
right?
man, are bad. There were so many times during the season, if Purdue lost a game, it was like Caleb Swanigan doesn't care. He's sloppy. He sucks. This guy's supposed to be an All-American. People I forget who it was. Was it Rabjohns? One of those guys was tweeting like, you know what an All-American doesn't do? He doesn't turn the ball over in the whatever.
Rabjohns doesn't really. I don't know if he knows what an All-American would do.
He doesn't know a lot.
He barely knows what a journalist does, like a sports reporter.
That's the thing, is that Biggie had his. He wasn't a flawless player. He wasn't I wanted to talk to you guys about this, because I was so young. Like one of my first sports memories, like honestly, the first two sporting memories I have is Reggie Miller in the playoffs and Glenn Robinson dominating, and because my family is a Purdue family, and so I wanted to get I don't think that he was as flawless of a player as Glenn Robinson was.
Come on, no way.
But you know what? But he was a force. He's in that conversation, right?
No, Glenn Robinson was one of the greatest college basketball players over a 30-year span.
Biggie put up numbers. Biggie put up numbers that only Tim Duncan matched.
Yeah, but these are like
I'm also kind of playing devil's advocate here. I just want to pull that out there.
To me, Biggie put up numbers that ESPN, this era of ESPN, feasted on. Right? They really tried to spin these as no one could ever do this again, right? I mean, and let's look the biggest game he had. Look at the competition he had it against, right, and the stage he had it on. That really matters to me, right? That
but so let's play this. This hypothetical: if Biggie was 2 inches taller, 3 inches taller, so Biggie is 6'11". He's not quite 7 feet. Biggie is 6'11", and he has the exact same game, the exact same season that he had. He's a lottery pick. He's a lottery. I mean, what? But
if I had 6 inches on my vertical and better genes,
but I'm literally just
Brad Pitt's bone structure.
He's the same player, but 2 inches taller. He's not 6'8.5". He's like 6'10.5". So that's what I'm saying.
Is he 6'8.5"?
Vince might be taller than him.
Is there any chance that Swanigan becomes Charles Barkley in the NBA?
No, Barkley was so
serious question. Yeah, seriously.
No, Barkley was
crazy athletic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He was open court.
Right. He always played taller than he is. I mean, he played above the rim actually too.
So that's kind of my point is that we all see that Biggie doesn't fit the modern NBA. You know, Biggie came about 15 years too late. And that's kind of what's tempering all of us is that, we know, like Glenn Robinson, we knew that he was going to be, or at least I assume that everybody knew the entire year that he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. He lived up to it. He was the number 1 overall pick, right? Tim Duncan, same thing. He put up those numbers. Tim Duncan, put up the same numbers that were better numbers than Biggie did. He was a great defender. He was this great locker room guy. He went to this not traditional basketball powerhouse school. Everybody knew that he would translate to the next level. He was the number 1 overall pick, right? But right now, everybody knew that Biggie is not going to be a lottery pick. He's not going to be top 20. Earliest he could go is probably like 24, right? Earliest.
Is that that's tempering. I don't know. This is my naivete, but
I think that's tempering.
I don't think people thought that coming out of high school that there was no chance of him being a lottery pick, did they? Or am I wrong about that?
I mean, because of his body, because he wasn't tall enough, or he was, he's 6'9", but he's not a freak athlete. Like you have to be one or the other, right? And
power forwards
he's a tryout.
Are what small forwards were 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
And so 10, 15 years ago, he would be a fantastic power forward.
He'd be a top 20 pick,
He'd be a top 20 pick. But the game has moved too far to either you attack the basket off the dribble or you shoot threes.
So then it just sounds like the whole conversation sounds like he doesn't have a real position in the NBA. So then, we talk about him having a long career in the NBA. So
my question is, did that color our viewing of him as a transcendent player? Because we knew he was probably gone after this year, and we have a sneaking feeling he's not going to be a superstar in the NBA.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it colored because I don't understand why people conflate the college game with the NBA because they are really two completely different things.
Right.
And there has been countless Purdue basketball players and players from other teams that I've really enjoyed watching in college while knowing that none of them would ever play professional basketball. Like they just didn't have an effect on how I viewed their college game. So I don't know. I don't think it really change as much. I think it changed the conversation around whether he should return or not. I think that was the thing that was changed. But my
what
enjoyment
was
of him
the-
as a Purdue player was not.
He should have returned. I'll go out there and say.
Man, it would have been it
No,
would
you
have been
sell
awesome.
high.
It would have been a season for the ages, but
You
he
sell
wouldn't have
high,
ever
man.
returned.
Well, someone said to
Yeah.
me, you know, but someone in my office said to me, you know, is there anything he could have done to improve his draft stock? And I was like, yeah, I think so.
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
No, I
You
don't.
I don't think so. I don't
Because
think
it's
like
opportunity
reducing
cost
his.
of,
Out of your
yeah,
mind.
opportunity cost of a year older.
No, I wouldn't even say that. I would say that the things that he can improve on would be defense and turnovers. Those are the two main things. He's not going to turn into a lockdown defender over a summer because he just doesn't have those skills. Like those are going to take a while. And like reducing his turnovers is not going to boost him.
Well,
the
Ray
same way
Davis
Josh-
turned into a lockdown defender, and he never was. And
Who?
Ray Davis. He was a non-defensive player in high school, and he was a really.
Was-
I think it
Is Ray Davis on an NBA roster?
No, I think if he would have stayed, I do agree with you, Jay, that he would have become a better defender. He would have made his turnover rate would have gotten lower. But I don't think that does it enough. I mean, you see the growth. Like his first year, Biggie's first year at Purdue was good, was really good.
If you're if
I mean,
you're a sure first round pick, then yeah, you don't say, well, I could instead of being the 15th pick, maybe I'll be the 10th pick if I come back. Yeah, obviously you don't come back for that. But this is a guy who's probably not going to be a first round pick, right? He might be borderline.
CBS Sports, yeah. So CBS Sports did a study, I think last year, where it was how many, you hear the big thing, well, you're not going to get a guaranteed contract. Guaranteed contracts only happen in the first round. Right. So they wanted to ask the question, how many American college players are drafted in the first two rounds and don't get a contract? And the number was so minuscule. Mm-hmm. So virtually every player who plays in American college basketball is signed to a guaranteed contract.
The guaranteed contract thing is and
it doesn't mean
it's a thing, but it's not really effectively.
Like it means a little bit. What it means is a little less.
The main question is whether you're going to be drafted or not.
Right.
And for Biggie last year, I don't think he would have gotten drafted. I think it would have made a roster, but I don't think he would have gotten drafted.
Right.
That's a tough.
This year, there's. Yeah, exactly. And this year, there's no question. I mean, like this year, there's, I'm writing it, like I'm writing contingency plans in case he doesn't. He goes undrafted to one of the teams that doesn't have a draft pick after pick 20. But that's not going to happen. And so that's the thing is like he's in a position where there is nothing he could do that would make him a top 20 pick. There are things that he could do to make him a better basketball player for sure. And I think he would have become a better basketball player at Purdue, but it's not worth it.
I think he'll be one big thing that you guys really didn't mention, something he could improve on, and that is his situational awareness when he had the ball was pretty horrible at times. Like he didn't see that he was in a double team or a triple team, and he tried to force it through, right? So that's something, obviously, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, he probably won't be double teamed hardly ever in the NBA, right? Because he's not going to be first or second option.
And the other thing is that he's not, this is probably the only year that he's ever going to, or the last year that he's going to be the number one option on the team, ever. Yeah. Second unit, third unit, doesn't really matter. I think this was his last shot. So I see what you're saying, but I see where, I mean, like, there's no question that some of those end of game situations, it may have been a combination of, Painter drew up a, give it to Biggie and get out of the way play. The perimeter players didn't really move at all. You know what I mean? Like they just kind of stood and ball watched. Biggie knew that he was the guy, so he had to deliver. So yeah, for sure. Like I don't think that's an unfair criticism of him, but man, for the 38 other minutes of the game, you know what I mean? For the 39 other minutes of the game, he was pretty stellar, and I think kind of earned it, but I don't know.
You know what?
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was going to say the one thing going back to the comparison is I thought that was really interesting. The comparison about Glenn Robinson versus him, just in terms of viewing them in the same light and all that. I think I was trying to think there while we were talking, like what the differentiator was, leaving aside whether, one guy's game translated to the NBA a lot better. And I think part of it was, I think back then, because I was watching, you knew there were nights, many, many nights, that you had a shot even against a better team because Glenn Robinson was just going to fill it up endlessly. Yeah. There was no game ever in Biggie's time at Purdue, I don't think, where you were like, well, have no fear, Biggie's going to put up 30. It's not going to matter. Like he's going to just.
I think there are actually a number of massive differences, and one of the biggest ones is the supporting cast that Biggie had is tremendously better.
You think?
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I didn't. I don't.
I mean, that's if you look at that Purdue roster, other than Konzo, and you can use that Kansas game as a big kind of pointing to my case here. Those other guys, they were role players, and they were good role players, and they all did something well. But very few of them did multiple things well. You had Justin Jennings, who was a guy who could just slash and dunk, right? You had
what was the point guard?
Cornelius McNeary was on that team.
Matt Waddell was the point guard.
Waddell.
And that proves Dowd's point, because Waddell was the third best player on that team, and one of only 3 players on that team that averaged more than 10 points a game. The 4th leading scorer on that team averaged a little over 5 points a game.
Yeah, and if you go to the 5th, I'm guaranteeing it's probably 3 points. It was pretty.
Glenn scored 30. Glenn scored 30 a game, right?
Yeah,
but that was the thing, is that Biggie
took 16 shots.
Yeah, I mean it was not just he scored 30; he scored 30 super efficiently.
That's the thing, is that I think Biggie came 25 years too late, and I think Glenn Robinson came 25 years too early. Glenn Robinson would have been perfect for the NBA right now.
Well, because one of the reasons why Glenn Robinson was so remarkable is you could give him the ball anywhere on the court.
Yeah,
he could score on anybody. There was not a single person in college, and maybe this is 10-year-old me remembering things.
Weber is the only person you could probably say put up to it. But
Weber would guard him, but he would still get his points. Glenn would still get his points. Nobody shut him down, and people did shut Swanigan down. We saw it over and over when he played an athletic big man. Swanigan struggled, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many times he actually. I don't know how many times he got shut down this year. At least statistically, you know what I mean. He still grabbed his rebounds. He still got his tip ins. He still. But I think the lowest.
I'm saying scoring. The big thing.
That's the thing.
Robinson did not get shut down.
The biggest difference, I think, is that scoring, right? I mean, Biggie's a tryhard. He will do every single thing on the floor, but he's not. He's not the pure scorer that Big Dog was.
But
right?
I think that the negative that came with it, if you look at the way the two players kind of approached their teams, I think Robinson said he came in from day one and said, "This is my team. I'm going to be the first option." Katie said, "Yep," and it was pretty weird. Gene Katie actually kind of moved out of the way, out of his normal philosophy of moving the ball around, and he said, "This guy is everything is gonna run from. He's gonna play point forward."
But right there. I think that's the answer I was looking for, which is it's the difference between a great player in Biggie Swanigan and a transcendent player in Glenn Robinson. And
I think he threw in too many greats. I'm not trying to be.
Biggie will be remembered as a great college player.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But he's not. Yep. He didn't reach that transcendence level, which is.
You used the term transcendence on, I think, one of our last podcasts. After Purdue had beaten Iowa State, you started talking about the term transcendent, Denise.
For Purdue.
Okay. But I even think that may be a bit much, right? And I think I said for him to be transcendent. I hope this is on our transcript someplace. But I think I remember thinking this. I hope I verbalized. A lot of times, still waters run deep. I think I don't say. You guys know that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
very self-aware.
I'm guessing if I said it or I thought it, I said it. But for him to be transcendent, Purdue had to go to the Final Four, period, for me. Yeah. It was about that at that point, right? And I think none of us thought, other than my half high on paint fumes podcast.
Does that mean that Big Dog wasn't transcendent because he didn't go to a Final Four?
No, it doesn't.
He did it in other ways.
yes, he was by far he was going away the player of the year, and he was the best player in college.
Also,
basketball.
they would have gone to a Final Four if he didn't wrestle.
Yes,
with
yeah, I think if he wouldn't have wrestled with Matt Tindam.
What a weird, my goodness.
Amazing.
Like, that's
Only
still
Purdue, man.
Purdue.
Only
the most remarkable thing.
That's Purdue.
Oh, man. It makes me want to read the basketball
Yeah.
the Matt Tindam
Makes me
story.
want to cry because I was
Man.
at that last game and didn't know all that. So
So is it so transcendent? I agree. Way too far. One of a kind. I mean, will we
We're
see
not going to
another
see
one?
something like that. Well, maybe. I mean, we might, but that's a
He was
weird
a once in a generation Purdue player, Swanigan.
generational talent. I would agree. Absolutely. That's what I put in one of the things I'd written already for this week was that he was a generational talent because
can Caleb Swanigan become Dennis Rodman in the pro?
No,
Not
Dennis
not
Rodman.
minimum.
Dennis Rodman might be the most athletic player to ever play in the NBA. I don't think that's going out of
Really?
bounds.
I feel
Yeah.
like
I think
that might
Anthony
be
Davis
a
might be
little
more.
bit
No.
out of bounds. But
Anthony
I think
Davis
that-
is a good comparison, I think.
To who?
Yeah,
Rodman?
he keeps
To
breaking down.
Swanigan.
So, yeah, exactly. The high flying Anthony Davis and Biggie Swanigan.
No,
Actually,
who am I
I
thinking?
would
Oh, no, I'm thinking of there's a Nick. I apologize.
He's thinking of Antonio
Anthony
Davis.
Rand or
Anthony
But are you
Mason?
thinking of Antonio Davis?
Mason. Sorry,
Anthony Mason. That's it.
That could be it.
Mason would not sniff the NBA
Yeah,
in this era.
Mason. He's
I
better.
mean,
Yeah.
he was like, oh, this guy is big. Let's give him a contract.
Yeah.
Oh, he can punch Pacer players in the playoffs.
Oh, here we go.
Speaking of Anthony Davis,
Well,
I would
speaking
love
of-
to see
His legacy is that inbound pass that he threw to Reggie Miller.
His legacy is the awesome stuff he had shaved in the side of his head.
You know what though? I saw when he was on the 30 for 30,
Yeah.
Reggie Miller's 30 for 30. I liked him.
I
Him
really
and John
did.
Starks. I was
And
like,
John Starks is
these
tough not to like for me.
guys are okay. I hated John Starks.
I hated him as a player.
but I loved him on
I
the
loved
30
him.
for
He was
30.
my favorite Nick back then, by the way.
Was he really?
Starks.
Yeah, because he was
You're
a
a sad
grocery
man.
bagger. I mean,
Yes,
he went from
yeah.
grocery bagging to
He was
like,
the Kurt Warner of the
Kurt
NBA.
Warner, yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
And you saw him like literally shit his pants on those free throws.
Yes.
I've never seen that on live TV before. It was really uncomfortable.
But you've been through it yourself in a presentation.
By the way, I just looked this up. You know, Anthony Mason was only 6'7". You're so right. He wouldn't even sniff the
Yeah.
NBA.
He's not
6'7".
athletic. He wasn't tall. He wasn't really. I mean, he was thick.
Couldn't score.
It's tough.
He shot the
Like,
ball.
tough
shot the
and
ball
he
like
was
this.
relentless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push.
Nobody's
shot
ever had
put.
a better name he looked like he was made by a Mason.
Right.
Right? He was this big
And then in the
like,
offseason, he
concrete
built walls.
person.
Yeah, exactly.
He was Anyway. Anish, you
All
were
the
starting to say
millennials,
something
we've
that
lost all of them listening to this. They don't know who Anthony Mason is.
yeah.
But you guys are both millennials, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm an old
Yeah, I
millennial.
think
Yeah, but you guys are old
Yeah.
souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So okay. I mean, clear yes
Well,
here. Biggie's the best player that Painter's ever had. Right? Not even close.
Better than
What?
each one more? Better
Oh
than
man, more. I think more.
Yeah, absolutely better than Etwan Moore. I love
Ooh.
Etwan Moore was my guy. He was my favorite. I came in with the baby
I have a
boulders.
hard time saying it's better more.
Man, I would say like they're on the same level. Honestly.
Moore didn't even sniff Player of the Year contention, and Biggie fell a few votes short.
or get drafted. Oh no, he did get drafted. Last pick of the
He
draft.
got drafted at 55.
55. He
Sorry,
led Purdue
sorry.
in scoring for the first 3 years and was only like 0.3 of a point behind Juwan Johnson his senior year. He did
They're very similar in that thing where the NBA
Didn't even-
says you're not the
didn't even-
right size to play in the league, right?
Yeah.
Didn't even make first team. I don't think he was a first team All American.
No, I don't think he was.
He was second.
he was
or
an
third.
honorable mention.
He was second or third. He made
Was he
second or
second?
third team. Yeah,
And he was a academic All-American, wasn't he?
yeah.
Because they always talk about that like that's being an All-American. I mean, the revisionist history that the Purdue athletic department goes through is kind of funny to me. Because I saw something recently. They have these banners up with All-Americans under Painter, and I think they have Etwan Moore on there, and I'm like, eh?
Well, no. So I think he made second team All American, which is
Right,
why I'm
that's-
saying
he was a third team
Third.
NABC All American.
Okay.
but this wasn't but AP wise, he only was
Honorable.
Honorable mention twice.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying it. I love Smooge was my favorite player for the last 15 years, and I think I still love him more than Biggie.
Yeah,
but
me too.
He's not. No, Biggie's way better than him.
Man, I have a hard time.
I don't think that's fair to say to Smooth. Just because once again we can look at the surrounding team again, and that's in a better group than what we have now because you had that nucleus was so good.
Yeah.
And even those three on top of that they had Grant and Kramer.
And took him to the same spot. You know. They get each
got
one
one
more
big limitation. I can't remember what it is right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, right?
My fault, guys. I guess.
So, no, I think I love Etuan, but I don't think it's particularly close. I think
not even close.
No, I think Etuan got his 18 points a game his senior year and was like quiet assassin. He had his Ohio State game, but he wasn't a force of nature like Swanigan was.
I feel like in an immeasurable fashion, which is probably heading me down the wrong path, but I feel like Etuan had like a lot to do with Purdue winning. Like had an oversized on a good team, Purdue won because of Etuan Moore.
He was the best player on the Baby Boilers teams for sure. I mean, yeah.
I think I'm not sure where you're going there, Michael, because I think Caleb Swanigan had a pretty big impact on Purdue.
So you guys wouldn't even
comparing those two.
Nobody puts, none of us, because we're not mentioning Juwan Johnson, who was an All-American, and you're not mentioning Hummel, who was
no Hummel's not.
I think Hummel, to me, mostly because he's white, was a transformative player for Purdue's program.
You know what I loved about his hustle? He just
basketball
like really understood the game. You know what I mean?
He's like a coach on the floor, Michael.
Yeah.
Coach on the floor.
You could never leave him open.
You
is
can't
what I'm
leave him
trying to
open.
say.
Oh,
You can never leave him open.
Now, was he a little slow? Sure.
Not the best leaper.
Not the best leaper.
And
Didn't
you
have
saw he
ups.
couldn't dance really either.
But he used his brain. He guarded people with his brain.
Yeah.
He couldn't dance.
He couldn't dance.
Sorry for doing that, guys.
No,
I apologize.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put.
You actually couldn't leave him open, but that's besides the point. That had
No, I wouldn't put Juwan or Hummel on the same.
So
Well,
it's a
Juwan
two-man
was
race.
a consensus first-team All-American
First team.
and
That's
a
what I'm
first-round
saying.
draft pick,
I
and
know.
went to as far as Swanigan did. So what's the
Big
difference?
Ten Player of the Year too.
Right. That's the
Etuan
thing.
never won it.
Like if you just
So-
get transcript, right? If you never saw either of them play,
No, exactly.
you're like, wow, very similar. Nope, not similar at all.
well, but but the same knock on Juwan Johnson, right? He wasn't big
had no
enough to play
drive,
center.
right?
What's that?
He had no drive.
No,
No, he had no drive. He would have.
That's the big difference.
He has the body. Juwan Johnson had the body to succeed in the NBA. He had the athleticism. He had the frame. He had the talent.
Mhm.
He didn't have the drive. And he was put in a weird situation with Doc Rivers, who's notorious for never playing Rivers. Exactly. But so was Etuan Moore. And he came out of that with a contract, and now he's on a $55 million deal.
Yeah.
Something absurd with New Orleans.
Like $8 million.
Well,
a year.
when I think about Juwan Johnson, I think about a play against Illinois where he gets the ball behind the three-point line, takes 3 dribbles into the lane, and does this crazy outstretched arm one-handed dunk.
Yeah.
That is a play that translates directly to the NBA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he would have been great if he
And
had
he had a
drive.
great top of the key. He could hit a jumper like with that quick release. He
He had a high release play.
I was just going to say
Right.
where he's releasing it above everything. Yeah,
I was at it was one of the few where the paint crew lottery balls dropped our way. We were like the front row for that Penn State game his senior year where he hit the game winner.
When they
And-
should have lost him.
That was a soul crusher for.
I mean, and it was a turnaround. Purdue played awful.
That's the
and
one where
Etuan
almost
willed him back.
background of the picture when Juwan's shooting is just like
Yep.
almost just like willing it in, right? Oh man.
And and Juwan catches it, spins, fades away at an impossible angle for a
Yep.
7-footer,
Yep.
and just nothing but net.
So
And
So explain to me why Juwan Johnson and Caleb Swanigan are not on the same.
Yeah, it's hard to explain that because how about this? Do you remember? Okay,
That VCU game, I cannot.
right. That's right. But do you remember? Let's go through our head right now quickly. Which games did Swanigan win?
Oh, Michigan State.
Okay.
Michigan State.
I mean, like, yeah, not even. I mean, Michigan State was the best performance he ever had. The Iowa State game, he was damn good, and when he was
getting torched on the other side, which is
he was getting torched on the other side, but he gave it right back.
Right?
Gave it right back to him. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
but Juwan Johnson was Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. The contrast there is Juwan scored and he shut his dude down.
Juwan
and
was also
even he shut other dudes down. He made it impossible to bring it in the middle, right?
You're moving the goalposts if you're going to bring up the fact that he's a 4-year player.
No, to me, he was a
I
four.
agree.
He was there for 4 years, and he wasn't very good for 2 of them.
That's true.
I
There's
mean,
there's a big differentiator we're not even talking about. Is this is
Okay. Swanigan is like 9 years old. I mean, like that. So we could then he's much better. I just don't think that's fair to say. Let's just look at where they were their last year here, right? That's all we know.
No, I don't think that's fair at all. No,
I think it's fair to look at
so
their
we can
peak.
look into the future. I mean, I don't. I think you have to go with what you know as a player. Him in a Purdue uniform. That's all we can do. Right?
To judge how good they were as a Purdue player, you have to judge.
Okay, so then
what you've
got.
Yeah.
Spinning the 4-year thing a different way, Juwan Johnson took 2.5 years to have an impact. Caleb Swanigan took a game. You know what I mean? And that's where Etwan Moore, the comparison.
Right, I think we're talking
No. See, I disagree so strongly with this because what we're talking about when we're comparing those two players is which one is better. And you can say maybe Swanigan reached his peak faster than Juwan Johnson reached his peak. But their peaks are what matter. It doesn't matter.
We're talking about different
none of that other stuff matters. It's their peak.
Are we judging their peak or are we judging their
we're judging them as the best players over the course over a longer period, not one game, over the course their best season.
Yeah.
Cool.
Juwan senior year, Caleb sophomore year.
I cannot think of Juwan Johnson. Again, I came in at the same year as the Baby Boilers. They are my team. I cannot get past the VCU game. I can't do it.
That's a very fair point.
You know what I mean?
But the drive,
and the Iowa game
is one aspect of a basketball player. It's one aspect. It's one that he's low on, and Caleb Swanigan is high. But I think every other aspect of the game, Juwan Johnson is better.
Sure, and that's the tiebreaker
outside of rebounding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I would say rebounding is the defense. You know what I mean? JJ Brown.
Oh no! Don't pull that.
No. I'm saying
rebounding and defense.
No.
Okay.
I'm saying Juwan Johnson's defense is like Caleb Swanigan's rebound.
They would cancel each other out.
Exactly. It's like
Juwan Johnson's a better offensive player.
Juwan Johnson is.
But
this is where I count the offensive glass and the offensive.
Oh, okay.
No. But the offensive, you know what I mean.
Michael thought you were going earlier, and he's gonna disagree.
But
now he's gonna swing back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is where we can get into the nitty gritty. But like I do think that it's close enough that the tiebreaker is Juwan. Most of the time looked like he didn't really care if he was there or not.
So wait, hold on, real quick. Here's another interesting one, right? Is that none of us mentioned Hammonds again? He came right out of the gates and was effective, right? He was very, very good. He's defensive player of the year. He was a great player by the time he left. He had no impact on the postseason at all, right?
Nope.
And so we all look at it through that. We're like, okay.
Not positive.
We said there's nothing to remember the guy hung in Mackey. That's a hard thing to swallow.
He didn't have an impact on the program. He was a good player who did not have an impact on the history of Purdue basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a shame, right? Because we all loved watching that team blossom around him when they surprised us 2 years ago.
And when Hammonds decided, like, I think I'm going to play hard, he was magnificent.
He was
BYU game, at the end of the BYU game, where he was I think I'm going to win this game. And then he goes out and shoots a shot and wins the game. But for the rest of the time, and we fought back against this perception with Hammonds, but we were probably in the wrong to do so. But he was motor. Like,
I mean, it was his last year. His last year is when he got over that. But even then, it was like,
Even then, was he giving it 100% every night, or was he giving it 70% after years of giving it 50%?
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a fair question.
Read the Mavericks basketball bloggers and their opinion of Hammonds, and they're like, man, this guy looks like he should be a lot better than he is.
But again, it's like that. It's really hard to be a rookie for Rick Carlisle. You know what I mean?
Life's hard. Man.
Yeah.
Life
Oh no,
comes at
and
you
I'm not
fast.
saying
You
I'm
can
not
still work
saying
hard.
that.
You can still work hard.
You can still
No,
work
and
hard.
that's the difference. That's the difference between
That's
Caleb
tough.
Swanigan, Jawan Johnson, AJ Hammonds,
But
right?
that's why Caleb.
That's the difference between Etwan Moore. Yeah, that's the difference between Etwan Moore and the rest of them. That's why we remember Etwan more fondly than we remember Jawan.
Mhm.
It's that's the tiebreaker, right? You look at the resume. Jawan Johnson's resume is pretty close to Caleb Swanigan's this year, but he's not gonna. JJ is not going to be remembered like Caleb is. And
No.
you know,
He was on that
matters.
poster that I said about all Americans. That was the third guy. It was Smooge, Juwan, and Biggie.
But yeah, I mean, those are the guys for
Do you think
Painter.
what we're talking about? But see, here's another thing. If you want to talk about, like, will there be four morons talking about Biggie 20 years from now? The way we're talking about Glenn Robinson?
No.
No,
Yeah,
no, not the way we
you
talk
know-
about Glenn Robinson.
But you know,
I like light a candle and hush my voice whenever I talk about Glenn.
Yeah, exactly.
no. So wait, are we talking about Purdue fans, or are we talking about?
Yes, I'm a Purdue fan.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's stay within our universe. Okay.
Well, no. I actually think that there's a better argument that non-Purdue fans might remember Caleb Swanigan more fondly because of the story and because of the way his narrative took over, and because
that's kind of like Hummel, right? Like even IU fans are like, well, even I like Robbie Hummel,
but yeah,
because he's a white guy.
Hummel didn't reach that national
And Glenn,
level.
his kids don't even like him. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. I've heard stories that they're like not real fond of the guy, right? He wasn't a great dad. So that's right. That's part of the tarnish of Glenn Robinson.
I think that the story, if we're just looking at the player, maybe not, but the fact that 7 years before he was a runner-up for All-American, he was a 400-pound going nowhere homeless
amazing.
seventh grader.
It's amazing.
It's
You know what it'll be? This is what it'll be. 20 years after this season, there'll be a post on the next generation of Knucklehead Central. And they'll be like, hey, remember Biggie? Man, what a basketball player. That's what it'll be. But he's not like when the NCAA does their retrospectives every year, or the Big Ten does theirs. Like he might make the Big Ten, but you're not going to hear about it on the national.
No, and he won't make any of those stupid.
Yes, he will. Oh, I actually,
lists. I don't think so.
I
The best
disagree.
rebounder.
I did. Yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
so.
I disagree because people will be passing the records that he set. You know what I mean? There's tangible. Like even if we didn't get anywhere, he set records. He was an All-American. You know what I mean?
But the record he set. I mean, the rebounding record is not sexy.
No, it's not. But you're
And I
telling me
think that
why would
matters,
he be
man.
in the babasketball consciousness?
30 points a game
10
is
years down the road.
sexy.
That's what everyone remembers about Glenn Robinson is 30
Yes.
points a game. And that
Everybody-
dunk over
when
Craig
you see
Ostertag.
that, a young guy sees that and they're like, that number is crazy. Is that because everyone scored more than? Nope.
Nope.
It's because Glenn Robinson was
No.
silly, right?
Right. And 10 rebounds a game. I mean, like that, but the rebounds is secondary. You start with the 30 points.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Think about that. Think about the difference in perspective we have, right? Everybody was wanting Biggie to get the double-double every game, right? But many games it was like 11-10.
Not this year.
It happened.
It happened, sure, but I mean, not this year.
I mean, it happened the last couple games at home, I think. He had a game that was a double-double that was barely a double-double, didn't he? And he had one that he fell short that everybody thought, I think he got 7 or 8 rebounds. Everybody's like, oh, no.
The rebound, yeah, I think it was the Northwestern or the Michigan
7,
game.
right?
The Michigan game.
His highest scoring game was I think 32 points against Norfolk State.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's not a scorer, and
Right.
maybe that's why he won't.
Yeah, you remember the flash, right? And unless Dennis Rodman is the only legendary rebounder that people will talk about. And no one talks about like Mark Pryor as a 3-point shooter when they're talking about the greatest shooters of all time. Even though Mark Pryor was a freaking amazing 3-point shooter, right? Like those secondary skills. I mean, if you talk to NBA people, you're like, damn, yeah, that guy was fantastic. Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I think without the narrative, like without the story, you're probably right. But compare with the story, it's like he has a reason to be remembered while
you can't separate from the story.
But while somebody like Jared Sullinger doesn't have anything else. Like he had a tremendous season, but he doesn't have anything else for other people to remember.
My gut says his story becomes quieter and quieter with time, right? As he's a guy, like if he becomes the guy you guys are talking about, that is just a solid NBA player who just does his job, right? Yeah. I don't think his story will matter anymore
because it'll be in March we have these soft focus stories, like thousands of them on players. Right. It all just gets washed out.
Right. But stats,
even though his story is one of the craziest that I've ever heard.
It's an amazing story. But
it's an amazing
stats story. Don't get washed out. That's my whole point, right? The black and white, looking up someone, say, okay, like, the next Anish Ramaswamy comes along and he just starts looking up the greatest Purdue basketball player statistically, right?
But I think
it's going to pop off the page.
Oh yeah, I mean, but anytime anybody talks about a big man that gets double doubles, it'll be best big men to get double doubles since Tim Duncan and Caleb Swanigan.
And when YouTube becomes like a hologram website, everything's 3-dimensional. When you put your computer, and it's like guys floating above your keyboard, and then you have to go back and look at this ultra grainy footage. You can barely even see there are humans there. For Glenn Robinson, right? You'll still know. This guy was amazing because of the numbers, right? So
how often, Anish, did you talk about double doubles before Caleb Swanigan was a Boilermaker?
Good question.
Well, I mean, like again, it's an arbitrary.
About Tim Duncan.
No, it's an arbitrary number. Yeah, exactly. It's like
arbitrary.
It's
the basketball points in basketball. It's the equivalent of the ladies love the long ball in baseball. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like there are things that stick out in every sport. It's the Hail Mary pass.
Right.
It's the home run and its points.
Ladies love the long ball. I mean, dig the long ball, I think is what you mean. But
yeah.
Sorry, I got something to explain.
It's a good point, actually, Dowd. It's a great point you bring up, which is I do think that the myth of Biggie is inverse to his success at the next level. Mm-hmm. I think like if he flames out, his story will be remembered. But if he doesn't, if he sticks in the NBA, if he has a 10, 12 NBA career, and is fairly successful, nobody will remember it. You know why? Because the next level of most incredible story, like a current NBA player that's playing comparable to Biggie, it's Jimmy Butler. But everybody talked about that. I mean, like Jimmy Butler, like lived with his little sister in his car for several months as he was racking up stats. And I mean, but nobody remembers that now because he's really good at basketball. So that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, I'm trying to mute. I tried to mute during the long alarm or the grandfather clock ring.
Oh yeah, grandfather clock.
You guys would
I missed the grandfather clock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. But I love it at the same time. So one thing that I thought of that's interesting, okay, everything's about perspective, and I think we're going to start winding down here this half an hour show that was super focused. Is the interesting thing is there's always somebody worse and there's always somebody better, especially in Purdue's case, right? Because
mostly worse.
Usually better, actually.
Well,
depends in the program or outside the program.
Well, if you say with outside the program, like if this was a Kansas podcast or if it's a Duke podcast or if it's even an IU podcast or something where you can point, well, we've had national championships.
We'd all be white, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. I give bad examples. So there are programs that are that are better. And then I thought of, I just had this one popped in my head. There are programs that have had some worse fortune and worse players. Penn State, perhaps, right, is one that came right into my head because of
top 3 next year. Michael's all over it.
You know what? Y'all are
I know.
Anyone,
I just wanted to wind him up.
lighten
Yes.
Wanted to
the
wind him up.
water for Penn State is a
I give the
fool.
assist.
The
Jay.
fool.
Is a fool. That program
No, but Penn
sucks.
State.
I bet you something about Northwestern until they became a tournament game-winning team
Well, you could sort of see Northwestern, getting better as a program.
over the last 70 years. Yes, they were.
Like Penn State won 1 out of their last 8 games, and people are like, you better watch out for that Penn State team. Like, watch out for what? Like what are they gonna do? Like, are they gonna hit the team bus?
Okay, all I want to say, Michael, is that you better have been like me and a couple of years ago scoffing at the people who were saying Nebraska was going to be a top 3 team, because I was one of the people who thought everyone was crazy.
Yes, you did. You were.
Yeah.
The 1 year they made the tournament under Miles,
Yes.
and everyone was like, next year, man, they're going to
New power program. They got a. Did you see they got an arena? We're like, still Nebraska. Shut up, right? And
they've
Penn
come
State, you got to say, still
crashing
Penn State, guys.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what I think Penn State will do is what Penn State has done when they've been on the edge. They'll have a guy that lights the world on fire, and then
Yeah.
they'll fizzle out. I mean, you think they're going to break into the top 3 or 4 of the conference? Come on.
I'd say their ceiling is like top 5 of the conference, top 4 or 5.
I do too, which isn't a bad place for Penn State to be.
Maybe.
That's good.
Top 5 though, like 5.
You think that's crazy in this conference?
I think that's crazy. I think that's absolutely insane. I have no idea.
If you'll give me 5, I'll go at you with that. I'll say they're going to be top 5 next year.
Oh, yes, I will take that bet. I don't care what the stakes are. I will take that.
You don't
bet. They
care
will
what
not be
the stakes
5th next year.
Okay.
Mm.
Glad this is recorded.
Top
Yeah,
5.
that's good. You can-
I think they're going to be. I think next year is their one. I think they're going to be good.
What's
better.
the highest they've ever finished in the conference?
Probably second or third, right?
Maybe. I don't know if they've been that high. Have they?
They've
When were
never won the conference.
When would they have been that high?
They never won the conference. I would say they were that high when they had
Frazier. Tim
No,
Frazier.
those teams-
either that or there
those
was
teams
a
were not
team
great.
in the late
New Hall.
90s that had a very good shot blocker.
They were 7th back in 2004, 2005. They have not been top 10 since that season.
And
You
then
wanna
top
take
10
that
in the
bet?
Big Ten.
I'm talking the Big Ten.
Back
They've
when the
been
Big Ten
top
had
10
11.
in 12 seasons.
Hey.
But hey, let's take this bet.
No, I think in
Let's
the
do-
late 90s they had a good team, like a legit good team that was ranked.
No.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That is an incorrect statement.
There is, you have fact in front of you?
Hold on, let me look.
Yeah, I think you're going to be wrong here.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at women's basketball. They won the
I'm
national
sorry.
championship.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong season. They did, in fact, finish 6th in the conference in the 2008-2009 season.
Is that the year? That's the year they
Yeah.
went and won the whole NIT.
Oh, okay, I was even more wrong. They did.
That's the
wait,
one we
what?
mocked them so hard. You two were just glimmers in our eye at that point.
Wait, they finished 4th in 2011 or 2010, 2011.
I
With a 9-9 record. They finished record in 2010, 2011. Come on. They did get-
the point that I was getting at is Purdue's had a lot of good players, and if you guys would just settle for things, I mean, it's been a good run, and we should all say thank you, Matt Painter.
We should all say at least we're not Penn State, is what you're
At least
getting
we're
at.
not Penn State. I got to
No,
tell you,
that's-
though, there's one thing that I'm stoked about. I'm stoked about Babinski and everything he does. Man, he's doing things quietly. I mean,
How long before the fan base turns on him, do you think?
It'll
I
be-
give him 4
it'll
years.
4 years?
I think I might be generous, though. It might actually be 2 or 3.
I think that's fair. I think it'll be. I think this fan base actually thinks, okay, he deserves some time to undo the stink of Morgan Berg.
That's true.
I
But no athletic director is beloved by the fan base
No.
outside of Wisconsin.
Michigan State's, I think is.
Okay, well, that one is actually kind of like earned in a way
That's fair.
fairly
Yes.
unique.
Yes.
I mean, besides the whole,
God,
covering
they should
up
build
the.
a statue
Yeah,
of that
let's-
dude in a suit out in front of the stadium.
Let's
I
wait until
understand.
these sexual assault allegations go through before we hop too hard onto Michigan
Well-
State's bandwagon.
He's got the AD.
No, the entire
That's got
football.
nothing to do- No, but that's got. I mean, that's not. That doesn't mean the AD didn't build a good.
No, yeah.
You know,
He made the 2 best coaching hires ever there.
Yeah.
He hired both of them.
Yeah.
we've talked about this before. Remember
That's
that
awesome.
place is like Purdue. That place was like Purdue 17 years ago, 18. When Breeze was at Purdue, they were not as good of a program as Purdue in either sport.
Yeah.
And here they are.
Yeah.
So
I would say Wisconsin's AD would also probably be up there. Not Alvarez, but the guy before.
I think
Whoever
those
that
two examples. I feel like maybe we haven't beaten this to death.
We have talked about it
on our podcast, but those 2 programs are what drives Purdue fans like us crazy. When people are like, well, it's been, the fans that get on us that are like, support your team. Finishing first in the conference is enough. That's wonderful. No, you don't need, like a niche, you don't need to advance in the tournament.
That's right.
Tournament means nothing.
I'm just kidding.
Nothing means anything.
Yeah,
It's
everything means
meaningless.
nothing.
No, but
to find meaning is absurd.
But that'd be fine if there weren't examples right around you of how it can be. I think that every Purdue fan would agree to that. Every Purdue fan that gets driven nuts by this sort of stuff would agree to that.
I think that's kind of my whole point about starting this out when we were talking about all the good players is it kind of depends on where you're going to sit that day. For me, because I literally take violent swings on how I feel about Purdue's basketball program. Like, it's incredible. Some days I'm like, you know what? We've had some good success. I have this long, stupid debate with a friend of mine. Jay knows it. I'm not even going to bring it up right now because we're going to talk about it eventually. But it always comes back to how important is the tournament, is an NCAA tournament championship. And for me, when Purdue makes one of those great runs in February where they either don't lose one or they only lose one, both Painter and Katie have done that. Those are magically fun times for me. Like, I'm like, makes the winter a little warmer. I really enjoy them, right? Purdue gets, like if they're climbing up the polls, oh, I love that, right? The sad thing now, as I get older, is I do enjoy them less than I used to. I used to think, okay, they're going to do it this year. This is gonna be their year. Now I don't even think that way at all. I really don't.
No.
So,
I have no expectation that Purdue will make a Final Four anytime in the near future.
No.
And so for me as a fan, it becomes, okay, how do I make myself okay with that?
But that doesn't, it goes against the stuff we've seen though. George Mason went to a Final Four.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Butler went to 2.
Butler went to 2 finals.
So it's not to say
The Butler one is a bad. The Butler one is a bad. Yeah, all you have to do is have one of the higher 30-some-year-old, one of the best coaches, and
an NBA player and an NBA coach.
Two NBA players and a bunch of role models who are players.
Okay. You know how they got there. The point is to suggest that Purdue, you don't have any expectation that Purdue could go to a Final Four when there are programs. Fine, don't use Butler. You pick your team. How about the 6th place in the Big East UConn team that won a national title?
UConn had won a national title before that. That wasn't. They didn't break a.
Well, so okay.
The program drought. And
I'm not talking about program droughts. I'm talking about teams that get advanced to a Final Four that aren't even that good.
But wrapping it back, does Swanigan only taking Purdue to a Sweet 16? Does that taint the memory of him at all?
Not really.
Not really. I mean, I
liked watching this season. This was a fun season.
It was an awesome season. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
I think if he goes to a Final Four, then he's legendary. So does that mean nothing?
People are making
him crap? No, it just means he's not an utter, all-time legend. That's all.
And that's
people talk about like Rick Mounts. Like how people talk about like a Rick Mount type of a player,
right?
Like a guy like
you can't compare
decades later, where you're like, man,
can't compare him to Rick. Can't.
I'm just saying, like there's a different level. There are 3 people at the very top of Purdue's basketball pantheon.
Purdue's Mount Rushmore, if you will.
It's John Wooden, Rick Mount, and Glenn Robinson. Everyone else
is similar. Yeah.
is.
Yep.
But Dave
is
Shieldhouse, I mean, a lot of people say I don't know anything about Shieldhouse.
No, only Purdue fans know anything about
Yeah,
it.
Right.
Chillhouse, yeah, and Joe Barry Carroll and all the.
Well,
you
Joe
know.
Barry Carroll, yeah, I guess you could put him up there because they went to the Final Four.
Joe barely cares.
Yeah, exactly. The evolutionary.
He hates that
AJ
nickname, by the way. Oh, he hates it.
Oh,
I'm
you
sure.
really? You're kidding.
Shocker.
That surprises me. That's such an endearing nickname.
But somehow people still call him that. It's weird.
Nicknames tend to stick. I think.
Right, especially when it's so perfect.
How about this?
Joe
You two,
barely cares.
Michael and Anish.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are able to do this. I know Jay and I cannot. Maybe I hope I'm not speaking out of turn for Jay, but I do not think he can do this. Of the top 10 NCAA recruits 2 years ago when Swanigan signed at Purdue, is there one player Purdue could have gotten that would have transformed the program more?
Wait, like out of all of the players, or someone that was like a realistic target?
No. Yeah. Okay. So did Purdue get? I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it that way.
Like the perfect guy.
Yeah. Did Purdue get the absolute best fit for the program?
Yeah.
Out of the last 2 years?
Out of just that 1 year. I'm saying.
I mean, if you
pretend for a second
remembered,
Purdue could have grabbed into the bag any of those top 10 McDonald's All-American players.
if you remember, Diamond Stone was in that top 10, and everybody was convinced Diamond Stone was better than Biggie.
Yes. He looked great in games. I mean,
I think that was the Ivan Rabb year. That was the Jalen Brown year. That was the Ben Simmons.
Scalabassiere.
Oh, Scalabassiere.
There you
Yeah.
go. Ben Simmons. Let's look at that one. Okay. Obviously, everybody's they're watching him rehab right now, and I hear he looks incredible. He looks like the guy that they thought he was. Okay. If Simmons was put into Purdue's lineup with the talent around it,
no,
and Simmons being the exact same guy that he is, which it doesn't seem like he's much of a team guy to me, for anything I've read. Seems like he's about Ben Simmons' business, right?
Yep.
So, does Purdue have any different result? Do they have any better? You think it's worse result? Is that what you think? Anish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
There you go.
I don't think. I mean, like, I don't think that. I mean, like, I think out of that top 10, in terms of college basketball,
Right.
Biggie has had the best.
Oh, what about
college.
Brandon Ingram though? Come on.
Brandon Ingram?
Yeah.
His 4 minutes a game at Duke, and nobody really cared. He
That's
just
the thing.
looks
He was
like
great, but he's injured the entire time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he would have been great. He's great on Duke, but he's not. He wouldn't have been great on Purdue.
I think you guys have named most of them, right? I mean,
Diamond Stone, Malik Newman was another one.
Cheikh Diallo wasn't he?
Cheikh Diallo. Yeah, Cheikh Diallo was again. But again, they're all perfectly built players for a Kentucky team or or Kansas.
Hey, I'll throw out a name that was ranked lower than Swanigan, but I think would have a bigger impact.
Who was it? Sorry, I missed the first part.
Jalen Brunson.
Oh, that's a guy that
he would have transformed Purdue.
I agree.
He was so good as a freshman.
He is.
Yeah.
He continues to be.
There you go. I think that's the guy. That maybe Purdue would have had more success with. Yeah. I think.
God, he's
Yeah, maybe.
And Purdue was actually recruiting.
But like you said, it's a maybe. That's really a toss-up. I think it'd be probably pretty close.
Well, yeah. But...
So the point is, thanks, Painter, but you got to get 2 McDonald's All-Americans.
Got to double it next time.
Right. It's tough. I mean, that's the thing. Purdue's got to have to have a true nationally prominent season. They really have to have a team that is super cohesive and everything falls into place. We've talked about this forever. It's where all the things line up, and
you need the breaks and you need the talent. And
yep. Right. So
yeah, that was uplifting. Good fit.
On a positive note, you would think this was a Purdue football
one thing
podcast.
you can jump off on this with your podcast. In all seriousness, you could go deeper than just that one class and say, is there a player that's like a Glenn Robinson that Purdue ever could have, come into the program and really change things? If Purdue, how about this? Purdue would have gotten Gary Harris years ago.
I don't think
that team was dysfunctional as hell.
Yeah,
That
I
team
don't
was
think
not winning games.
Right. I mean,
wouldn't have had as big of an
not
impact
on
as
that team.
Swanigan. Swanigan, like, I mean, you want to end this on like not the note that we were just almost about to end this on. Swanigan is the most fun I have had as a Purdue fan was watching the national media drool over Caleb Swanigan, over his story, over his production, over his no nonsense attitude. He didn't fill the box. Like, he wasn't a 30-point a game scorer, but like, he dominated the game from from somewhere that people usually don't dominate college basketball from, right? The only people that did were Tyler Hansbrough. You can say that's pretty much like nobody else really like that in the in the last 10 years, let's say 15 years. He's one of the most like fun college basketball players Purdue has had, and I don't know, I had a great time watching him.
Well, I
did too.
Here, I'll go a different way with this. I can think of 3 Purdue teams in my life that I felt like on those seasons. Granted, my age was wildly varies here, but there were 3 Purdue teams that I thought had a legit chance at winning a national title at those points. Okay, yeah, I thought the Baby Boilers plus Grant and Creighton coming into that season, I thought this team is really, really good. This isn't just Purdue hype. This team's really good, right? I thought
needed a post defender. Huh? That's fine.
Sure, but they were really, really good. So
they could have won. They could have. Yeah.
So then you go to the next one for me is the Glenn Robinson team because
93,
he was that good.
Yeah. He could have done it. Yeah,
he could have done it.
He could have done it. And then the last one is the late 80s. Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
the 3 Amigos?
Amigos?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. But those
at
teams,
that point, granted, I was in middle school, okay? But I was positive they were going to win the national title because I really didn't. I was like, okay, it's time, right? Because I've watched IU to have their fun. It happened right now.
I love it. It's 30 years ago, and Ryan's like, it's time. It's time that's finally
It's about time.
Here we are. 30 years later, and it's still
because if they don't, I don't know if I can be a fan and
start to
talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I agree with the individual story, Swanigan. But as a team, there have been other teams. And let's see. So that's 88, 90.
Once every 15
94.
Once every 15 years.
And then 2010 or 2010. Yeah.
So 2026 is where it all comes together.
We're going to be there, man.
I think
we're going to be somewhere.
Final Four me and Indy then. Yeah, so we'll be fine.
That'll be when Painter's final season.
On this contract, and then he'll be
the coach, and then they'll have some coach in waiting like Ryan Smith or something.
Yeah.
Keep it in the Purdue family.
No, Babinski will go get Brad Stevens if we don't see an uptick soon.
No, Stevens is going to IU next season.
Did you guys hear the rumbles, NBA guys? Did you hear the rumbles or grumbles, whichever you want to say, of everybody saying, not everybody. There were people that legit said, "Is Stevens done?" If they would have lost that first round of the playoffs. I was like, the Celtics don't think he's done.
No,
that's the problem, you morons. And these were Celtic fans on.
They got the one over the Cavs, and they're not even done building, right, Anish?
Oh no,
they're not even.
They have the number 1 pick in the next draft.
They're not.
And maybe next year's because they got the next pick next year.
They're not very good. They don't have very good players.
No, they don't.
So, yeah,
Anish and I have talked about this.
They got 3 guys on their starting 5. I don't know who they are, but I'm not engaged.
They need to trade Isaiah Thomas, right, Anish?
Yep.
We had a heated argument about this a couple weeks ago.
You think they need to trade Isaiah Thomas?
I do. Sell high.
it's not a bad idea, but
3-team trade. Somehow the Pacers end up with LeBron James.
Sure.
LeBron
James. Here's what the Pacers are going to do. You lose Paul George to free agency and get
Paul George. They got to sell him now. If the Lakers are offering first-round picks and a bag of peanuts, take it. I mean, because
that's not where I thought you were going with that, by the way.
Good.
A bag of I was like, oh God, where are we going?
Peanuts.
It's 11:30 at night.
Goodness gracious, I don't think that.
Break out the wine, guys.
Exactly. Let's get the white wine.
I love white wine. It's fun.
White wine. I got to tell you, this was the most fun podcast I participated in the last month and a half.
It's not bad.
It's not. It hasn't been for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've hit the podcast circuit pretty hard, and this is about a C+.
It was okay. Yeah.
I'm happy that we've gotten efficient with these. I'm happy that they're
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good.
down to a
I want to
tidy.
know. I want people
170
to at me on Twitter and tell me that you listen to these things, because I listen to them after we post them,
So do I.
and I laugh because I think we're hilarious.
Yes.
But there's this voice in the back of my head. There's this voice in the back of my head that's like, no one else is gonna.
But
think
here's
this.
the
No, there's people.
Yeah, there are people. You know, the problem is I've listened, especially XM recently. There are a couple shows on XM radio that are almost impossible to listen to.
Where you're like, we're better than that.
And they meander and talk about nothing, just like we do, except worse, because we're funnier than they are.
We're hilarious.
We're hilarious.
Michael, what I would do
Cultural
if think about
references.
this. Here's how I got past worrying that nobody would listen. Remember, there are very, very, very few outlets producing Purdue-centric sports talk.
Yep.
Be careful,
content.
because you're going to get me talking about some of the other outlets.
No, I'm just saying there's very few podcasts, radio shows. You can't tune into XM radio and hear talk about Purdue ever.
No, and I've tried. I have seriously.
Right?
Damn.
Purdue has to be like in the Elite Eight, or Drew Brees or Glenn Robinson have to be there. That's it.
Mhm.
In fact, to this day, the only time Purdue football is talked about is if Drew Brees like meanders on campus. And
To be fair, I don't want them talking about Purdue football.
no, that's a fair point.
one of those XM shows that I listened to, they talked about Purdue football recently. They're talking about who has the most pressure.
Still have
on
a
the
team?
First-year coaches. And I'm not kidding. They went through like every first-year coach. They're like, oh, yeah, Jeff Brom at Purdue. It was the last coach they mentioned.
He doesn't have any pressure. Nor should he.
Nobody has any pressure, because I think people are like, yeah, he's good and this program sucks and he's got time.
When Markel Jones wins the Heisman, then we'll start talking.
We'll do a podcast for sure. Obviously, several about Brom and the football program. But something that's been rattling around in my head is he could be not successful at Purdue, and to me, that might not be an indicator that he's not a good coach.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it made it clear that Hazel wasn't a good coach. But I think if Brom was
Like his next job is Central Florida, and he takes him to two
Right.
games, and
I
then
wouldn't
he
be
takes
shocked
the
at all.
step back to
Oh
Louisville.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. If
Yep.
he takes Central Florida to the Orange Bowl, you're like, yeah, good for him.
Yeah, that seems about right.
sounds about right.
Purdue's offense is pretty good, but
What was he gonna do at Purdue?
But it's more important for Purdue because all Purdue's players are home for Christmas, and that family comes
family
first.
matters, exactly.
Family comes first, and that's the type of program we run.
Yeah, yeah,
They never have to worry about being away from their loved
That's
ones
awesome.
all this season.
that's great.
And those are times you can't get back. You can't
That's
turn
a
the clock
really
back on
good thing.
that.
I didn't even think
Yeah,
about.
you can't unring those bells. So
You can't unring
a lot of people talk the talk. Purdue walks the walk.
Putting their money where their mouth,
Putting their money well.
or not
if
putting
they had
any money.
They had
where
And
their
no money. No,
Exactly.
no money.
Putting
Zero
no
money.
money.
Zero monies, as my son used to say when he was younger. No monies.
No monies.
Yep.
No monies.
Yeah.
You have your wallet, Mike? No monies.
No monies. What are you doing hitting up your son?
I
for
would do it
cash?
it's still.
Seriously, give me your wallet.
No, like you ever go to Target or
Hey, wait,
something?
this was like a bullying situation?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
looking at the
'Cause
hall,
we
you
go-
pop out of a
You go
room.
to Target or
Okay,
you go to the
where's
grocery
your wallet?
store, and he wants like one of those, the suckers that you push up with your finger through the
Push
bottom.
pops.
Push pop. Dagnabbit. They had said push in it.
Dagnabbit.
Okay, and I'd say, okay, that's $1.07, Mike. Did you bring your wallet?
No money.
He's like, no money.
Would you still get it? Would you still buy it for him?
Yeah, it's not good.
I
Or
hope.
were you like, oh, sorry.
Sorry,
Get a
you're
job.
out, and then I'd be
Get a
like,
job.
I'd throw it.
We're Republicans.
By the way, you're going to have to start paying for your own health insurance.
Oh, I had a great line by the
Oh,
way.
I'm going to bail you out. Is that what you want me to do? I see.
Maybe I should. So somebody told me recently there's a high because of different laws. When something is built, there has to be a certain number of subsidized tenants. Okay, and I said I really didn't know. I don't know what that law is or what's made it greater. I said, but come to think of it, I've got two in my house that don't pay a nickel for their
Not
deal.
a
So
dime.
what the hell, man? Everything's
You know what,
subsidized.
though?
Freeloaders.
Those freeloaders' parents. Like, who raises someone?
Exactly. Those shitty parents. That's the problem.
You know, it's these kids these days.
Yep. And on that note, you've been listening to the Boiled Sports Podcast, the Handsome Hour, with our two extra handsome guests from the basketball beat, which you'll hear from later on this week.
Probably this week.